Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching, always encouraging self-reliance. If you develop a marketable skill, chase that skill with a solid work ethic. Always go the extra mile. Develop people and communication skills. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish in this country. I have a young man here, Donavan Blake, who was in the Northeastern School District, and now he's at the Virginia Military Institute, and really has some cool things to share. So, Donavan, welcome. Tell us about your school experience.
Hi. First, I'll just say I went to Virginia Military Institute with hopes it'll help you get into the military. It does what's called there's an RTC program, and in short, it just indoctrinates you into the military lifestyle and gives you a commission to be leading soldiers as an officer in the branch of your choice after you graduate college. And VMI for short is a school I chose for its values and things that of the nature. So from there, I guess we can get into it a little farther.
Sure. So as far as I understand, there's a group, I guess, first coming in, they refer to them as rats or whatever. What is the purpose of that, Donavan?
So when you first go, it's a tradition as old as time. The school was founded in the early 19th century, so it's been around for a while now. And the school is very tradition centered. So when you get there, you're called a rat. You don't get to say I. There's no me, I. They say it's used to help you form a class, because when you get there, you're not a class, you're a rat mass. And it's just to create unity and create a brotherhood that you can take into even after you graduate to school. It's very evident throughout history of those times, things like that. But it's just an indoctrination period of about 7 months till you become a full cadet and get all the privileges that come with that. So.
Okay. And as far as that's concerned, what's some of the ways that people kind of get in trouble during this time period?
Well, there's a lot. People who I would say aren't prepared for the lifestyle that we live are not going to do well, and that goes with them getting in trouble. So a good way to put it is, like, imagine you go to Army boot camp, and there's always going to be the guy that's like, oh, well, if somebody's screaming at me, I'm going to punch him in the face. And it's kind of the same dynamic. Somebody's screaming at you, some people just don't react to it well. And it doesn't, and it translates throughout the entire 7-month period, where some people just don't react to the so-called indoctrination well, and that'll get them in trouble. We're not allowed to have our phones or anything like that. So they don't react to that well, and they'll try and sneak it and things like just sneaky things to try and get around that, because they're not prepared for it mentally.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: was there any favorite situations that you found yourself in that where you might get in a little bit of trouble?
Yeah. So this was during the first week. A good example I have for you. This was during the first week, and mind you, for the first week they call it Hell Week, because you get about 5 hours of sleep a night if you're lucky. And then it's during the day, you don't get to sit down. You're always working out, things like that, from 5 a.m. to like 12. So you're mentally, you're fatigued, things like that. So, but during that first week, I walked past one of my cadre members, and they're the people screaming at you. And he put up his hand like this. And I don't know what he did it for to this day, but he put up his hand, and I just instinctively, for whatever reason, just fist bumped him. And it didn't go very well. So I had to do a lot of push-ups and a lot of pull-ups. So, but yeah, it was pretty funny. I mean, I knew in the back of my mind that why did I do that? But it was just my mind was so fatigued that I just did it. I don't know.
Okay,
Pretty
so
fun.
what response did he want from you when he put his hand up like that?
I have no idea. He just did it. I think he was trying to talk to one of the other cadre members, but I was just so out of it that I just was like, boop. And like I now there was some expletives, but he was just like, why did you do that? And then I just had to do a lot of push-ups and stuff. So, but it
I
was
see.
funny. So
Well, very good. What as far as push-ups, you've probably gotten pretty good at doing those, I would assume.
yeah. So the workouts we do a solid workout. Um, to put it in perspective, like we usually do them in remembrance for something. So we have a lot of Fallujah, like Battle of Fallujah. It's a big
Hmm.
like in the global war on terrorism.
Right.
The battle, we have a lot of veterans of that like engagement at our school that help to run the school, and so we do a giant workout for them in remembrance of that, as well as ones for September 11th. We did a huge like stair climb thing.
Mhm.
We do like a per workout. Um, uh, for we do ones in remembrance for like when people die, that went to the school, things like that. And those workouts are, ooh, they get you. They are
Mhm.
harder than any you know sports practice I've ever had. So
Sure, sure. Well, and speaking of sports practice, um, obviously being involved with sports, before you get there and everything. I know academics is kind of the top priority, but how did being involved with sports help you as far as mental toughness, being able to adapt to, some challenging situations there at BMI?
yeah, so um, when I first went there, you could tell instantly who were the athletes in high school and who weren't. Um, there was another, like I said, a certain level of mental toughness involved with the athletes that wasn't there. And now it's not something you could visually point out, be like, oh yeah, I know you were or you weren't, but you could just
Hmm.
tell how they responded to certain situations because it's not the same, but there's certain elements in sports that could translate over. One of them would be competitiveness.
Hmm.
Um, like when I'm in a sport and I'm being competitive against somebody and wanting to win and wanting to always do the best that I can to beat that other person and be better than them, that translates to this field immensely. Like anytime we're doing it or anything like that, where I'm constantly trying to be better than my peers. Now, obviously, everybody wants to be better than everybody else and be as good as they can. Not in necessarily a bad way, but it pushes everybody around you, and
Hmm.
that's definitely you can see who has that inside of them, and those people usually succeed.
Yeah. And I understand you did some, you got into some boxing there and everything. Is that correct? Well, what was that like?
I can't hear you. What happened?
Oh, I said you were involved with boxing.
Yes, that's a big thing. I just kind of somehow found out. So I've always been into martial arts and things like that, and MMA and things like that. But when we so as a new student, you have to take a boxing class, and
Hmm.
during that boxing class, I loved it and I was very good at it for some reason. So the coach of that reached out to me and invited me to. Now I'm gonna go. We start practicing in February, so that'll be that'll be fun. Looking forward to you know, in the coming future, we have nationals and things like that. So
Good, good. So academics, I know those are the top priority there, Donovan. We're going to close this down here pretty soon. Tell us about the academics and what that was like for you.
yeah, so it's uh it's a struggle to say the least. Compared to it's not that the school is harder academically than most other colleges. It is a very difficult academic school, but when you compare that or contrast that with other schools, you also have the military stuff and the whole rat stuff that I explained. So it makes everything more difficult. Everything piles up. You have no free time. Like I know personally during my days, my normal day, I don't start doing schoolwork until about 8:30 and I'll finish usually around midnight. Because that's the only time that I have, whether I'm doing rat stuff, working out, you know, classes, things like that. So it's hard for sure. But it's something after this rat line thing ends, it'll get a little bit easier and I'll get adjusted to managing time. But it's something that a lot of people had to get used to for sure. It helps it helps you learn how to manage your time for sure.
Sure, sure. Okay, well, Donovan, this has been great. Any other last thoughts here you have as far as BMI is concerned?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, very good. Can you hang for a minute after we're done here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody watching this, we certainly appreciate your service and your upcoming service. So thank you for going there, Donovan. We do appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.